Let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. They are on the hunt for a new coach today. Now, we brought this to you as breaking news right here on Midday, and that Mike McCarthy, well, he's now out. The big question right now is who will be the franchise's next coach? Joining us right now is our good friend, Locked On Cowboys podcast host, Landon McCool. Good morning to you, Landon.
Good morning, Cleo. How's it going?
It's going well. Listen, there's a lot of buzz right now. First up, knowing what Jerry Jones has done in the past. I mean, do you expect a quick or maybe a slow search process?
Well, if we're basing it on what he's done in the past, I would imagine it's going to be a little bit of a slow process. I mean, this process has already been a little bit dragged out, considering the length of where the Mike McCarthy's contract, which I think actually technically expires today. So today
yep.
He can actually start looking at other jobs. I'm sure he'll start taking other interviews. And for the Cowboys, I'm sure if they knew that they weren't going to be re-signing Mike McCarthy, they've at least started kicking names around internally.
Right.
I think the question is, like, how soon are they going to start bringing folks in for interviews? Obviously, there's some of these folks that they may want to interview that are still in the playoffs that may limit their ability. But I think that there's some other folks that they can get in for interviews early. They got to get going, though, because you have the Senior Bowl coming up. You've got lots of scouting events that you're going to want a head coach to kind of help provide direction for.
Exactly. Landon, our WFA sports team confirmed that Jerry spoke to Colorado coach and former Cowboy Deion Sanders. I mean, what are you hearing about the chances of him coming back to Dallas? I don't know about this.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great story, and it sounds like something that Jerry would kind of elbow somebody and say, hey, I'm talking to Deion about being the head coach. I think the reality of it is that there's an $8 million buyout from Deion's contract with Colorado,
Lord.
which is I think more than Jerry was even willing to pay Mike McCarthy in total. So I think that's pretty much a deal breaker. And I think the other thing too is that Deion, he's interested in coaching young men. I think that's his whole thing. That's why he got into high school and college football. I don't know that he has an interest in coaching grown men. I think the things that make him a good college football coach, I don't know that they translate to the NFL, that recruiting, getting people at the school. Mm-hmm. That's just not something that you're going to be doing as an NFL head coach. Right.
That's a good point. Speaking of former Cowboys, we also know Jerry Jones. Well, he really likes Jason Whitten. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, Whitten, I think is probably interested in being an NFL coach and probably interested in taking that step. I mean, it's really, really early in Jason Witten's coaching career to be considered the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. But, obviously Jerry's relationships go a long way. So I'm sure he'll get an interview, if only to just help, raise his profile a little bit. I certainly wouldn't be shocked if Jason ended up on the coaching staff on some form of fashion just to kind of get his foot in the door in NFL coaching. But I would be pretty shocked if he went all the way to head coach this early in his coaching career.
Exactly. Let's talk about current staff. Could defensive coordinator, maybe Mike Zimmer, be a top contender for the head coach job?
I think Zimmer is an interesting name. The question I have with Zimmer is, where is he in his coaching career? Like, the way he was speaking at the end of the year last year made it sound like he may be ready to retire. He's an older gentleman at this point. Don't let the dark hair fool you. He's getting close to 70. So if he's willing to come back and if he's interested in coming back in that kind of capacity, I'm sure he's a name that's going to be bandied about because I think he did a great job at the end of the year as a defensive coordinator, and the Cowboys would like to retain that. But I think it's all about whether or not he's even interested in continuing his coaching career period at this point.
Landon, I got a few more seconds with you. Can I just throw out the name Kellen Moore, from the current Eagles offensive coordinator, and the fact that any coach they hire has to kind of coach with Jerry?
Yeah, I do think that Kellen is the most interesting of these names simply because he has, the thing I'm most concerned is who's calling the plays. That to me is the most, difficult thing to find. The most, rare thing to find is a good play caller. I think Kellen could do the job. He obviously has experience with Dak. He obviously has experience with Jerry. I'm not sure what the nature of their relationship is after the breakup and Kellen leaving. I'm sure that that's a bridge that they could amend. But I do think it's an interesting combination of, he hasn't been a head coach yet. I do think that Jerry would make an exception to his kind of, rule there for Kellen. But I think that it's an interesting fit. But again, another team that you're going to have to wait until they're done with the playoffs before you interview Kellen.
All right, Kellen. Well, Landon, thank you so much for joining us. You are so good at this.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. Please have me back in. There's always going to be tons to talk about with the Cowboys.
Oh, yes, there will be. Thank you so much. You know, for more on Cowboys and the Cowboys surge, check out Locked On Cowboys today at 1 p.m. on our WFAA Plus app. That's free on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV. Landon, oh my gosh, such a pleasure to have you.